Now they have these trails set up, and they say to stay on these trails. So you have fragile area, stay on trail. There was another sign that they're still working on these structures. They don't want you going inside. They don't want you climbing on them or trying to get souvenirs. Just enjoy it for what it is. Now we're going to come up to here, and these are two of the officers' quarters that are left out of the six, the original six. What happened is this fort was established in 1860, and it was only around till 1870. And then sometime after that, they auctioned off the roofing, wood, anything that people would want to buy, I guess, leaving just the adobe structures. This adobe was actually pulled from the Carson River, which is directly behind us. So here you have the officers' quarters. Maybe a little hard to read on that. We'll let's go this way. Kind of a decent little look to the inside of it. It actually has like a little cellar there or something. I believe it was a cellar and it filled in. But they had a little parlor room and a couple bedrooms, and even had a small little attic. This one here looks like it's probably in a little better shape. Let's see what we got here. I mean, heck, nowadays I wouldn't mind living in something like this. A little more set up. That was part of the attic. But the officers were allowed to bring their wives here. And then, just like any man wants his wife to have the best, so they actually had their own little bathrooms in here, their own privies. I don't know if this was a court area, like a courtroom outside. It looks like it, like a patio almost.
Halfway there, you're getting better.
Oh, thanks. It's my step tracker. So this must have been the front entrance. Very cool. Now this is the commander's office. It's not very big, but it had everything he needed to help run this base and to distribute orders to the men. It was also used as a courtroom. A lot of soldiers got in trouble back then, deserting or disobeying direct orders. There's also a stop for the Pony Express. Very interesting. Let's see what this big sucker is. This one's pretty well maintained. Oh, the storehouses. All right, so the quartermaster. This is the guy. This is where you came to bribe the guy to get stuff. So, really wish we could get in a little closer, but I'm not gonna. You can see some other people did. There's some footprints here. That's kind of tacky. All right, so I was wrong about this building. This is actually the laundress's quarters. Guess there was like, it was manned by the wives of the enlisted that came along with them. And they took care of all the laundry on the base. And apparently it was so important, they were actually running out of money when they were building. And the soldiers actually made this building happen. I'm figuring they had specialists back then too, the E4 Mafia, or E4 Mafia, or in the Corps you got the Lance Corporal Mafia. Always getting stuff done. It's actually right over here behind me. This whole area here. This was the grinder, the parade ground. It's like I said before, officers just love to watch their men sweat out there. Horse and pony shows since the beginning of time. Ever since a man could tell another man what to do, he had to show it off. This is pretty cool. This is where the bakery was. You imagine that this bakery would have been a heck of a lot bigger than this. To feed all these men. Wow. Couldn't imagine the work going into that. Could you imagine, okay, you're baking out here for these soldiers, and down there where that tree line is, that's where the water is. That's the river. So there was nothing easy. There was no faucets, nothing like that. Going down there, getting the water wagon going. Yeah, tough people. Pardon the wind, but also to put this in a little more perspective, that's the hospital we were looking at. Come up here, here's the 2 officers' quarters that were left. Now there were 6 of them. So he had 4 more going right over here. All the way over to the enlisted barracks, which are way over there. Just impressive. So just like every good military base, especially if you're a cav unit, artillery unit, infantry unit, because that's what they had here. They also had their powder magazine. That's where they kept all their munitions. And they kept it away from everybody in case there was an explosion. All but the guys in the stockade. Let's go check that building out. All right, so here we are at the guardhouse, stockade. The guardhouse had 2 offices in it for the guard on duty, probably the sergeant of the day, officer of the day. They also had 4 cells, and the cells inside were 7 by 4, probably all the way in the back there. I'm thinking that back wall is where the cells were. I'm gonna come around the side and see if maybe we can get a better look. This is where the office would have been. Pretty sure there would have been an NCO and a lieutenant in there. And hopefully I can get that in there. And going all the way back through there would be the 4 cells. 7 by 4. If you ask me, I think we should go back to 7 by 4 cells now. But the foundation, all the rock here, this foundation is all local from the hills. The wood that they used for the roof and frames and so forth, that was all brought down from the Sierras. The adobe was actually mined down on the Carson River. And anything else they needed, they got it from San Francisco. So I did just read something kind of interesting. One, there's no photos at all of this base. Everything is pretty much from lineographic drawings. But when you look at the drawings and when you look at the model, and I didn't really realize it until I read it, there's no defensive wall. There's no wall, inner perimeter wall, nothing. And the reason for that is just supposed to be a regional base of operations, place for supplies. It wasn't meant to be a defensive fort. So they didn't build it. They put all their energy into the actual structures. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Figure it wouldn't be right for me not to show the warning signs, let you read them, just so you have a understanding of what's going on here. And of course, right next to it, of course, we are here in the high desert. So rattlesnakes are very common to this area. All right, don't mess with them. Leave them alone. Let them do their own thing. They're actually good for the environment. Needless to say, if one's near me, I'm sorry, dude, you're dying. So I don't know if it's just because it was for the enlisted or what, but the barracks definitely seemed to be Well, they don't seem like they lasted time as well as the other buildings. But this here was the barracks. All right, from what I understand, each barrack housed 2 platoons. Maybe more than that. I'm probably wrong. But also, across from each one of the barracks, they had their own mess hall. So this mess hall, well, it went back to Nevada. That which comes from the sand must return to the sand. And like I said, I was, like I'm going to be probably wrong, and I was, about the barracks for the enlisted. Like behind me here, this building would house 100 men. 100 men with a dirt floor, meager freaking furniture, and across from it, which, well, I'll go this way. This here was the mess hall. And so they basically ate, salted pork, beef, bread, and they didn't have much really for entertainment out here. I mean, it was lonely and unpleasant. I could only imagine. Kind of like an outpost in Afghanistan or Iraq. So here's a better shot of the mess hall. Not sure what the layout would have been, but I'm thinking the cooking area was in the back there. And if I know military protocol, I'm sure there was a NCO section, an enlisted section. Officers, I'm sure, ate in their house. I mean, they had their wives there. Not saying the wives were there to cook for them, but that is what they did back then. And here's the barracks. Again, another angle of it. And this path is clearly marked off of rocks. But yeah, you got people that just can't follow common rules and stuff. So there's a couple footprints in there. But 100 men in here with nothing to do but fish, go drinking, probably fish and drink, and then or go over to Buckland Station to drink and play cards. And that would be another working party detail the NCOs would be getting their Joes out there doing, and that is digging new latrines, cleaning latrines, everything. I mean, I'm sure it took a lot of work to build this sucker and to maintain it. It's right behind me here, like I was trying to say before my camera died on me. You have the enlisted barracks going all the way down, all right? Now, directly right here in front of me, so I bring the camera around this way, there's one of the remnants of the officers' quarters. Look how close it is to the enlisted barracks. Now, I know for a fact that these first 3 buildings that are not here anymore had to be your junior officers. And if they had their wives with them, I remember when I was with Platoon 1066 at Paris Island, every graduation, because we were right next to the grinder, the parade ground, you could smell the perfume and it would drive you insane. So I'm pretty sure there had to be some issues out here with that. One of the things I was thinking about was, I forgot to mention, is that these soldiers that were here working on this, I mean, they were doing manual labor for $13 a month. $13 a month. I can't imagine that was a lot of money then either. I don't know. If anybody does know, let me know. Maybe I'll look up, I'll Google it. It's an impressive place. Highly recommend coming out here. Like I said, the staff are awesome. The camp host, great guy, really nice guy. Every person we've dealt with so far out here, just professional, you can tell they love their job. They love it. And who wouldn't? I would love to do this. Sometimes I wish I chose a different profession in life, because I love history, and there's a lot of history here.